What's up, everybody? This is Football at the Bar. We're your host. I'm TA.
This is G Money. What's up, everybody?
And we are fired up to be back with you. And we're being brought to you by ATB Media Network. So, few things. Great week of football. We had some unbelievable games. I can't wait to sit over and talk with G Money about
talking about my Raiders.
Yeah, you know the Raiders are going to be a part of the conversation today after what they've been through. But before that, I know you know, but our folks don't know. I had the opportunity to meet E40 this past week.
E40 Fonzarelli.
I knew E40 had like the Slurricane and his staple of drinks, but I didn't know my man had some yak. And so we were going down there to get some bottles of yak and sit over there. There goes E40, and he's doing a bottle signing. What do you know? And this man had some yak, and this yak is called Tycoon Cognac. And let me tell y'all, folks, this Tycoon, you got to go find it.
Look, it gets you there. That's the point.
It gets you there. But what's nice about it is it ain't as rough as like Henny or something like that. It's actually much more smoother. A little bit of sweetness. I absolutely love it. Here's where the twist is. What's unbelievable is this needs to be our drink for the show. You know, E40, yo. You need to sit over here and sponsor this show. This needs to be the drink of the show because I love this and I drink yak daily.
You are the yak connoisseur,
I
will concede that to you, bro.
And I probably drunk at least 20 different yaks, and this has to be in my top 3. So hey, we're gonna get in it with it today.
Damn, he made the top 3 that quick?
Yeah, that's how good it is. That's
like
how phenomenal.
For real?
Oh. To write it out, take a picture.
Okay,
yes.
Well, because you know you a swashbuckler, so I already know. Yeah, it must be good then. Okay,
it most definitely is. And so today I'm drinking a Tycoon. What you drinking on?
So I'm doing it. What's it called? A Shindag, Shildag. Anyway, it's an award-winning Scotch, and you know, for those who haven't, I say, paid attention to us for all this time, I am a Scotch guy.
This is a Scotch man.
You know, it gets good to me. So, but right now I'm drinking the Shindag, and I think that it is award winning. And I think when we went down to the store, they said, "Oh, okay, this is the top shelf." I was like, "Well, give me that." And so there it is. So that's what I'm on right now.
Well, I see you come ready for battle.
Oh,
you got your camouflage on today.
Oh, yeah.
And so we got a great show for y'all. And as we sit over here and cheers to this week's show, ladies and gentlemen, do me a favor. Like, subscribe, download, follow. Be a part of this deal. Leave some comments. We
love them comments.
We love hearing from you. For all of our new people, people from all throughout the United States, our people out there in Europe. We're getting people in the Netherlands and UK and obviously Germany because they were just games. We appreciate you. But like, follow, subscribe,
what
download,
he said.
Do all of that for me.
Do all of that. Church on the move.
And speaking of international, after our NBA at the Bar game, NBA at the Bar podcast, I got up early on Sunday to sit over here and watch my Kansas City Chiefs with my man Mahomes play the Dolphins. Early game.
You made me put my glass down.
So what I got to hear is, what were your thoughts on that game?
You know what? Okay, so I felt bad for Cheetah. You know, he won the Super Bowl with he's the number 1 receiver. We all know it. But he gave that fumble up.
He gave the fumble up.
He gave the fumble up. And I think the big takeaway was the Chiefs' defense is legit. You know, what are you talking about? From Chris Jones to Snead to, I think it was their linebacker Gay.
Mm-hmm.
I hate to say it because I don't like them. Let me just preface that for America and the world.
Because they've been getting that ass for a long time.
I don't like them. Boo and bah humbug. But that defense got in Dolphins' ass.
Mm-hmm.
They pressed them. And the Cheetah just gave up a fumble, and it was like, God damn, man, he got it, and man, he had to take a little step back, but their defense, they're so disciplined. They are a Super Bowl caliber defense, and they displayed it, and they turned that fumble into a score, and
but see, here's where the twist is. What that was is Cheetah got a slice of humble pie because he came into the game talking all that shit. I'm going to give him the work, talking all that shit. And here's where the twist is. When you're playing a team the caliber of the Chiefs, you don't need to talk shit about it. You don't got to talk about it. You got to be about it. And so what unfortunately happened is he wasn't able to be about it in this game.
I know.
He had one of his worst games of the season, barely 60 yards on whatever amount of completions. He gave up that fumble. And then, but here's where the twist is. The Chiefs didn't play that well. The Chiefs ran out to a 21-0 start in the first half and then didn't score any more points. And Miami almost came back and got in that ass. I was a little bit nervous. And so for me,
yeah, they did.
The concern is when I'm looking at this screen, do the Chiefs really have enough to win a Super Bowl this year?
It's very hard to judge the games that are overseas. So whether or not they're playing in England or Germany, I always kind of like put that with an asterisk on anybody's season, because you're playing on a neutral field, regardless of who they say is going to be the home team. You're playing on a neutral field, and you're playing on a soccer field. And most of the time, those soccer fields have a little bit too much grass, a little not enough grass, or they have a little bit too much mud, or a little bit too much pebbles in the turf, and it's not enough. And then you got everybody who's not in their normal, comfortable environment. So practice, everything, it affects teams. Regardless of the variable, it affects teams. But what I saw in that game at the end of the day was, the Chiefs defense got that score early, and then it was just keep away at that point. So the Chiefs smartly, and this, I gotta give credit to Patrick Mahomes. He just said, I'm gonna make these one or two plays go to my pseudo, okay wide receivers, whether it was, Rice or Say. And then he really did is he effectively used Jerk McKinnon because they were going to take Kelsey away. Mm-hmm. And they did take Kelsey away. Yes. I think the Dolphins really were good at saying, okay, Kelsey is not going to beat us in this game. And they double teamed him, which most people in the league don't do. And they double teamed him and they bracketed him. And it was just a problem with, let me go through an outlet and throw over the middle. That wasn't going to happen in that game. But once they got up on their, 10 points, they just said, oh, okay, well, we're going to dink and dunk all day. And that's what happened. And yes, the offense didn't look at its optimum in terms of efficiency, even though the Dolphins came back. Okay, that's the
Scott. But here's what twist is. I got a couple of disagreements with you. One is that neutral site in Europe is really a great preparedness for the Super Bowl, because the Super Bowl is always played at a neutral field.
Okay.
So playing at a neutral field in Europe, also when you go to the Super Bowl, it's almost like its own world because they have such a bubble around it.
Yeah, and there's a lot of hype.
There's a lot of hype. So very similar to a game in Europe.
Okay.
So I believe that actually is a great indicator of how these teams would actually play in the Super Bowl. Now, when we talk about the offense for the Chiefs, like you said, used other players because Kelsey was neutralized. But what happens is that the offense stalled. We got to remember
they did stall.
The defensive coordinator for Miami, he was just the Denver coach.
Well, but regardless of his name, that's not important. What I would say is that schematically.
Well, schematically, who came back? Who came back?
The Dolphins came back.
No. Who came back on the Dolphins defense? Who got hurt? And
Ramsey.
came back? Ramsey.
Ramsey
and
came back.
and that was a big difference in their defense. Their defense had
He got burnt though. He got burnt a couple times in that game. So yes,
you come back off of a hurt knee and you get burnt a couple times.
Well, okay. I mean, I think long haul Ramsey is going to be a stud for them because Ramsey is a stud.
Mm-hmm.
Period. End of story. But he got exposed because that was the reintroduction to the league, and it's almost like Ramsey's in preseason and everybody else is in 3 or 4 weeks to the seasons. But with all that being said, okay, yeah, he showed his Pro Bowl medal in that game. He did,
but so did the Chiefs' defense. And this is what the thing is: this offense is sputtering right now. What we all hope for and what we all expect is that this offense is going to be able to catch its footing and get going. But we can't sit over and hope for that each and every single year, especially when they are depleted of real talent in their wide receiver realm. So my biggest concern is that this offense doesn't look like they can win a Super Bowl, to be perfectly honest with you. They might be able to get there because they're a great all-around team and you have Mahomes. But I don't know if they have enough to actually win a Super Bowl. But the twist is that defense, you can't fuck with them. That defense is strong.
And that's precisely why I would disagree with you, because what I would say is, as much as what you're saying is accurate, the traditionally the Chiefs have just been offensive centric. They have been offensive dominant. They have been, okay, we're going to go up by 2 or 3 scores, and then you guys can just play good prevent and we'll win the game. But the truth of the matter is that this is probably the first season to where they're marginal at the wide receiver position. They're still winning.
We're marginal
but
last
they're
year.
still winning. And they're still winning because
of what?
Of their defense. And so Chris Jones, and I said it, Snead, their safeties, they got a whole bunch of guys that are like, let's say, not on the calendar of, oh, okay, this is a named guy, but they are whooping ass, and their defense just put it on display. What I was really impressed with is how they contained Cheetah in that game, and that it was a sight to behold.
Now, why were they able to do that?
Because they just said, by my cold, dead hand, will you get over the top? So Cheetah, we all know, it's like whether or not he's running a hitch, a slant, a fake and a fade, or whether he's doing a streak. They if you don't put a safety over top of him, he's going to beat anybody right in front of him.
Is it fair to say other teams
do that? They bumped him. Snead, I got to give a little bit of credit to Snead. Snead made it a point in that game to just say, I'm going to literally bump and run him every single motherfucking time. And then when he did that, they said, and we're going to have a linebacker, and we're going to have a safety over you, and it doesn't matter what route you're running, because if you run over the middle, we're going to have somebody paying attention to you. So they took him away.
Who did the Cheetah play for before the Dolphins?
He played for the Chiefs.
So is it fair to say that the Chiefs probably know him
they
better than everybody else? So real quick. So I actually want to go to the next time, because we're talking about great defenses, and we actually saw an unbelievable matchup between the Dallas Cowboys and the Philadelphia Eagles. Two teams that are traditionally great defenses.
They were the
primetime
game.
It was the primetime game. And Dallas has been known to have one of the, if not the best defenses in the game. But that great defense lost. What were your thoughts about that game?
I thought that Dak Prescott performed well under duress. And I think that was the first game in a long time. He's done this before in the regular season, but he's performed well under duress before. But this was the first game to where I felt like, oh, okay, Dak was really trying to win that game. But when you talk about defenses, what I thought is, I think his defense let him down. And then I think that in those high leverage moments, his right tackle let him down because the Eagles just said, we know we can beat this motherfucker, and we did, and we're going to sack your ass. And they did that. And that was the difference in the game. The interesting thing about the Eagles to me is they are not as efficient as they were last year. I think we can all say that. They just are not. They're not.
Okay.
But they still find a way to score because they have the talent to score. And they scored just enough, and their defense did just enough to say, we're better than you.
Well, I'm tired of that argument. This flat out, I'm so tired.
Well, that's what happened.
So let me review this game a little bit. Dak played absolutely phenomenal. The defense didn't play bad. They just didn't play well enough. But at the end of the day is Dak playing well. I'm tired of the argument of Dak.
It's empty calories.
That's a rod. No, it wasn't. Dak played well. It wasn't enough to beat the best team in the NFL. Because right now, the Eagles have the very best record in the league. So we have to stop talking about Dak can't do it against big teams.
You're right.
He did.
You're right.
Him stepping out of bounds it was by inches. So they talk about this is a game of inches. He stepped out of bounds, missed that. That would have been a complete game changer. But again, the Eagles, we got to stop sitting over and criticizing them as if the offense just isn't that good. They got the best record in the league, and we talking about the offense just isn't that good.
But they do what's required when so the greatness.
This game is about winning and losing, and it's hard to win in this league and this team.
Church on the move.
Led by Hurts is winning. So what we have to start doing is we have to start giving the flowers to the winners and stop making excuses for these mediocre quarterbacks like Herbert and all the there's so many.
That's funny you say
Allen. I'm so tired of hearing about everybody making excuses of why they're not winning, but want to sit over and criticize a man who's leading a team to the best record in the league.
Yeah. So, real talk, baby. You know what? Look, we have talked for the season. We've talked about the fragility of winning, and it is a fragile thing. It really is. So you got to get good play on all fronts, right? Offense, skill position, offensive line, skill position, quarterback, defense. These are the things that ultimately create W's or losses. And, you're right.
Hey, I just want to say, I've been hearing about this fragility.
I can't even believe I said you're right about 3 times.
But I've been hearing about the fragility of winning for the past 3 weeks. Motherfucker, if you don't write a book on the fragility of winning.
I know.
That's
that might be a Pulitzer Prize. You're right. God damn it, somebody needs to hire me or I need to hire somebody to write a book.
But I think this game sat over and showed the Eagles are the real deal.
I can't even believe I told you are right 3 times.
This isn't the first time you've told me to show that.
I know. I don't like it. I don't like it. But okay.
But the Eagles have showed that they are the real deal. The Eagles have showed that they can sit over here and beat good teams. Dallas,
they can adjust.
Dallas has not shown that. They either win big, usually beating subpar
mediocre teams,
and they traditionally just fall short, and that's been their history for quite some time.
Yeah,
but I don't believe that rests on Dak's shoulders for this particular game. This is one of the few games that we haven't seen Dak shit the bed, and probably because it's in the season and not in the playoffs. But he played well.
I give Dak a lot of credit because he did play well. This is the first game that I've seen, and even in their little bullshit rivalry, right?
Well, no. Before you go there, they haven't played one another. This is actually the first time that they've actually been a chance to play one another. Dak was hurt a game, and then Hurts has been hurt a game. I mean, they've been playing each other once, but
they play twice each other a year.
The teams have, but they haven't played one another. They've been out. So this is the first time we're able to see those two players play against one another, and both didn't play perfect games, but both played very good games. And I think it did come down to overall team and also coaching. McCarthy's I mean, he's a Stone Cold mystery. Stone Cold.
McCarthy.
And Sirianni,
wah, wah.
Sirianni has really etched his way into being recognized as one of the top coaches in the NFL. And I wasn't a huge Sirianni fan at the beginning of his tenure with the Eagles, but he has demonstrated that he is that dude. He's making it happen.
That dude.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, you know what? They don't look in perfect rhythm, but what you can always say about them is when it's time to get the first down and when it's time to score the ball, they do it.
And so when you have a team that's not looking like they're clicking on all cylinders, that they're not in perfect rhythm, that still hold the best record in the league, you know what that says? That says Super Bowl. So all I'm saying is that we have to sit over here as media or pundits, people that are talking about the game,
as I love to call us,
and stop criticizing this man, stop criticizing this team, and appreciate them, because through their flaws, throughout a tough season, a long season, they're getting the job done week over week.
All right, I'm gonna roll with that. Eagles on the move. Hey, they doing on the move.
You know who was on the move is C.J. Stroud.
I know you love it. You love to steal my thunder.
I love to steal your thunder because
you love to steal it.
You toss it to me, and let me tell you something,
motherfucker. But you're right though.
But just under 500 yards, 5 TDs, no interceptions. Hey, and this was another person. Dude. This was another motherfucker that they was talking shit about.
Yeah,
in the draft.
And did he not do good in the test or something? Listen,
this S2 test. Fake ass SAT.
I always laugh because there's this thing that goes on with the draft where they like to talk about all these quarterbacks and they like to pump them up or shit on them. Mm-hmm. And even if the shit is slight, because they can't deny their statistics, it's just like, that little bit of slight that you give is going to make that dude go from being number 1 overall to, he might be 3 or 4, maybe 5. And the funny thing is, so we've seen it, right? What is the Carolina dude doing? Nothing.
He's struggling.
What is CJ Stroud doing? He's a gangster.
He's a gangster, without a doubt.
On the move.
I wish Richardson would have been able to play out his whole season so we could really see the dynamic between those two.
Woo!
Because obviously our man from Carolina is not there yet. And now obviously it's not all on him. It's about the
he needs skill position. He needs offensive line.
But here's the thing is we had that reasoning for him. But we got to look at the Texans. Nobody came into this season talking about the Texans were going to be a good team.
No.
A mediocre team.
No.
We expected them to be a very poor team because they don't have a lot of quote-unquote
I will say
star power.
I will say this. I didn't expect the Texans to be a poor team, but I expected the Texans, which still may end up being. I expected them to be somewhere around 8-8. Or, I expected them to be a 500
What has their record been for the past 2 years?
They've been egregious. They've been bottom of the barrel.
So what would make you think that they go from bottom of the barrel to a 500 team? Did you think that much of Stroud he was going to be the lifter?
No. I think I thought a lot about D'Amico Ryans.
Mm-hmm. So a leader of men.
Yeah. A leader of men. And we're going to talk about coaches a little later. So I think D'Amico Ryans was the catalyst.
The differentiator.
And he basically got into the owner's brain and he was a Texan and he played with he
was drafted by them. Yeah.
And he played at an optimum level. And so I think that they just decided they were going to invest their mentality into what he saw. And guess what? He drafted a motherfucker.
On accident.
Because CJ Stroud is a motherfucker.
Remember, the previous coach fucked him and won that last game that knocked him out of the first. If they would have got the first pick, they would have sit over here and picked up my man that's currently with the Carolina. And thankfully they didn't. And it's so funny how
And they
life
look
works.
genius right now.
Well, I don't say they look genius. They picked.
Looks genius.
They picked the person that was available to them, because if not, they would have sat
now
over here and
going
picked.
to my sip now.
As you should.
Yeah. You're all right.
But the real question is I think C.J. Stroud is the next big time quarterback. I think he's that next special individual, a person that's in the ilk of Herbert. So here's what twist is. They're starting to come around, but this is the next individual that should be spoken about, just like people speak about Herbert, just like people speak about Trevor Lawrence, just like people speak about Joe Burrow. When you sit over here and drop almost 500 yards in a game, 5 touchdowns,
it was like 497.
I mean, come on,
5 touchdowns.
Well, no touchdowns. Remember, in the beginning of the season, he went 4 games or 5 games with no interceptions, where every other quarterback had at least 1 interception.
And let me also just say this, just with respect to the defense that he went against. So Tampa Bay is Tampa 2, and that is the same Super Bowl defense by and large. They had the same linebacker core. Mm-hmm. I don't know about their defensive line, but their linebacker core, and then one of their secondary with Dean. Mm-hmm. That's the same team that won the Super Bowl 2 years ago, 2 or 3 years ago, right? So what he sliced them. He eviscerated
them. He was dropping dots, just like boom.
Yeah, and so you have to really understand that, because the thing that people that watch football really understand is they have linebackers that are fast. Mm-hmm. So when you have linebackers that are fast, that can cover the run, but that can also like get back and then get into that cover 2, cover 3 zone, and they can do that with efficiency. And that is what Tampa Bay did. And then you annihilate them dudes. Oh, you're that guy, because that just means, okay, I can see you faking, going in, going out. It doesn't matter. Listen, I'm going to throw it over the top. I have touch. I can put velocity. I can do all of those things. And whether or not you put pressure on me or not is immaterial, because I can deliver the ball when I need to deliver the ball. And the evidence is the evidence. He got 497 yards on that defense. Mm-hmm. And he got 5 touchdowns with no interceptions on that defense. So it's like, listen, star alert. Star alert.
You know, it's so funny. Everybody wants to sit over and jump on Todd Bowles like he just didn't have his team ready. When at the end,
he did.
When in all actuality, we're just looking at somebody coming into their own, and we're looking at a star being made right in front of us.
Yes.
And so I think Houston Texans have a great opportunity. They have a 5-year window while he's under his rookie deal.
Real talk.
To sit over and build a team that could truly compete for a championship. As we look at the Chiefs team, mm-hmm. which is in the same conference, probably start to go down a little bit just because of cost of the talent that they have around them.
Yeah.
So we could be looking at an organization that's going to be completely turned around. And with Caserio, I mean, the reality is the shenanigans and tomfoolery that he's been doing in the previous 2 seasons. We didn't know what the fuck he was doing, and we already know the background of people that are disciples from the Patriots organization don't have good track records. We didn't realize what he was doing over the past couple of years with the people that he was signing off the street, the coaches that he was putting in place, and not really giving the organizations full breath behind them. They have the coach, they have the quarterback, they have the offensive coordinator that came from the Shanahan system as well with Bobby Slovic. They are positioned to sit over here and make some noise in the next couple of years.
I know.
So I'm super excited.
Look. I know there's a couple of dudes out here that be like, look, I need to go start a John Madden franchise with the Houston Texans. Let's see what it's gonna do. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, I wouldn't be
mad. You know, go ahead and make it sexy. You know what I'm saying? I can get a couple of good dudes up there in 98.
So speaking of the Houston Texans, right? They used to have another quarterback that was up and comer. That was there.
Oh, you talking about the Cars?
Named Deshaun Watson.
Oh.
And Deshaun Watson was their superstar, and
Well,
their owner lied to him. He forced his way out and got to Cleveland. And now he's in Cleveland. Cleveland has an unbelievable roster, right?
Okay.
And a lot of people are picking them as having the ability to not just make the playoffs, but maybe make a run in the playoffs. But he hasn't played well, right? But recently,
and he's been hurt.
He's been hurt. But recently, two of the last three games have been the best games that he's played since he's been in the Browns uniform.
It's unequivocally real. Yes. So, but what I almost want to ask you is, because to me, the reason why the Browns are good is not because of Watson. It's because of those defenses.
Correct.
So, okay, top three defenses.
I think we're probably in lockstep with that. Obviously, the Browns, I think, is the very best defense. I think that's kind of been recognized universally.
I was wondering where you was gonna go with it.
Now, who would you say your number two is?
Number two,
I would say the Ravens.
The
Ravens. I mean, that team is coming together.
The Scott, you took me there. But thank you. I actually have to agree with you because I wanted to disagree with you. But you're right. The Ravens.
So the Ravens. So we have number one and we have number two. The real question is what is that third, top defense?
Okay, so I got one. Do you want me to give you my one first?
You tell me what you can barely give me your second one. So
I did.
Third one.
But you made it easy for me when you said that because you're right. It's the Ravens.
Okay, so who would you say number three is?
Number three, in my opinion, 49ers.
And now it's so funny. You were just the man sitting on this show a week ago talking about the defense was their weak point. So why do you think they're now a top three defense in the league?
Because I listen to, just like many people out there, I listen to all of the the pundits out there, the people who judge and review. But the reason why their defenses look porous is not because of the talent that's on that team. I think their team is stacked. And then they just traded for a motherfucker from Washington.
Chase Young.
Yeah. So
for those of you that forget, Chase Young was, if not the number one pick, top three pick. He was a top three pick
they're about to be
in the NFL draft.
They're going to be stupid.
Coming from Ohio State, playing with Bosa. So they both played at Ohio State, had one of the best defenses in the whole college football.
So we all know Bosa was holding out. He didn't do all the things that we normally see out of defenses. He didn't do the preseason or the
But he's one of the top. He's one
of the tops. Mm-hmm. And he's going to be one of the top.
And think of those two monsters together.
Okay, so what I would say is that I got to give a little shout out to Richard Sherman, because Richard Sherman talked about the formation.
You love Richard Sherman. You always give him a shout out every week.
That's my
Richard Sherman.
Other than Deion Sanders, I think that Richard Sherman is literally one of the best corners to ever play the game. That's going too far. No.
They'll fight you right now.
I'm not saying he's on par with Deion Sanders, but he is up there.
Revis, I'm sorry, but this is disrespectful.
Okay, well, whoop-de wop and boop-de bop. Okay, I don't care. That's my guy.
That's your guy.
And what he said was it was very articulate. He said that this new defensive coordinator they got, because they lost D'Amico Ryans. Mm-hmm. They lost what's the Jets quarter?
Salah. We just saw him on TV.
They lost him. So they just said,
beard.
Formationally, they used to go out wide and they used to just basically penetrate, and they would play zone behind it. Mm-hmm. So that allowed them to just say, I'm going to just kill you with the 4.
Okay.
And then I'm going to play zone behind it. And then they got studs to just run, tackle, and do all that. And they got away from that, coupled with the fact that their wide receivers, especially in Debo, that got hurt. So this is why they've lost. But if they reconfigure themselves to just do what worked, the 49ers defense is formidable. And then you add your boy, who I just said, or who you just said,
Chase Young.
Trace Young. You add Trace Young to it,
and they just added that dude from Denver too, that came from the Cowboys.
Correct. So then there's a rotation.
So let me give you
they're
my third.
Gonna whoop ass.
Let me give you my third. And what you're saying is completely true. That team, how it's set up, that
whoop
defense should be able to
stop.
Yeah, but here's what twist is. Mine is the Chiefs. And here's what's unique. There have been a lot of great defenses that we've seen over the past 20 years that have been able to carry a team kicking and screaming to the Super Bowl and win it. We've seen the Ravens do it with a mediocre quarterback. We've seen the Giants do it, beating Brady with a great defense and a mediocre quarterback.
Be careful, because you would have me disagreeing with you, and Lord knows I don't want to do that.
We had Seattle with the Legion of Boom, bringing a young Russell Wilson to win a Super Bowl against Peyton Manning, and should have won a Super Bowl against Brady. But here's what the thing is, rarely, if ever, have we seen a phenomenal defense, actually other than with Brady, a phenomenal defense bring a great quarterback with them to the Super Bowl. And so that is the one thing that I can rest my hat on with the Chiefs, is that they have this unbelievable defense, playing the best that they've ever played in the Mahomes era. And then we can just believe in Mahomes doing enough special shit in the game to sit over and win them a Super Bowl. Just enough special throws, and that they actually catch the passes to sit over here and win a Super Bowl. So the Chiefs, for me, is that third phenomenal defense that is going to make a splash in it. But I will tell you this, like you said, Deshaun hasn't played great. This team is going to go as far as the defense can drag the rest of the team in the playoffs.
The Chiefs are interesting because this is the first time to where they can say to themselves, our offense is not going to carry the day. This is probably the first time. They're not. It's going to be, can your defense basically shut somebody down enough? And I think that they can, because they've proven it. And then it will be, can you guys produce somewhere between 14 to 24 on a good day?
14 points is not enough.
14
points is not enough. 14 points is not enough.
Well, okay. I don't think their defense is a shutdown defense, but I think that if they can, let's say, average around 14 points early,
giving up, if they don't allow the other team to score more than 14 points, which is on par with the Ravens, then yes, we have a team that could possibly win the Super Bowl.
And
if Deshaun Watson sits over here and pulls his head out of his ass and plays like he played before, yes, they have a team. They have the offensive weapons. If they had Chubb, it would be like, oh shit.
Yeah. Now, so the flip side of that is, so we talk about the Ravens. The Ravens' mentality is, you guys can't stop our run. So what you have now proven with the Ravens, and what you talk about, Flower, you got, obviously, you got your tight end, you guys are comparable. It's really just, can Lamar Jackson, which Lamar Jackson has yet to prove, is, can he do it in the playoffs? Can he say, I'm going to throw it to Bateman, Flowers?
You know why he's never proven in the playoffs?
Okay.
You know why? Because he's gone up against Mahomes. That team previous wasn't built to come from behind. They were a running team. This is a new team with a new offensive coordinator that is a pass first versus a run.
That's going to be real interesting.
So really what we're going to have an opportunity to see this upcoming week, because they're playing the Browns, how that dichotomy is going to work, because we saw the running game get going this week with Mitchell. We're going to talk about Mitchell in the fantasy.
Okay.
That's their free agent running back that actually went off and got it cracking. But the thing is if they can't run against the Browns, can they pass against the Browns? That's going to be that first real test to see what they're going to be able to do against top level competition that similar to what they're going to face deep into the playoffs. But I will tell you this, the team that I'm most scared of for Kansas City is the Ravens, because the Ravens have a team,
the Ravens
a team that can stifle
advance
the offense.
They should advance.
You have a quarterback that has talent levels close to Mahomes. So when you put those two together, that's what the biggest threat is to Mahomes.
But then Joe Burrow is going to have something to say about it.
But see, what happens is when you start off slow, when you start off 0-2, 0-3, guess what? You sit over here and you're counting 9 lives.
Okay.
And that team is looking great. I mean, some of these pundits are now, because they just beat the Bills, are now trying to say that they're the best team in the NFL. And this is, again, what drives me crazy and why we have to do this show, is to not sit over here and just try to propel certain fan favorites or pundit favorites into the number one echelon and really talk about this game in a real standpoint. And
all right, level. Fuck the bullshit. Here's the thing. I'm talking about, tired of talking about the AFC North. Okay, I'm just going to be honest. Listen, let's bring it to the AFC West side, west. And what did my Raider Nation do?
What your Raider Nation did is they sat over here and got rid of a sorry, weak, mediocre.
Thank you, Mark Davis.
Motherfucker. And Mark Davis actually doing something
Mark Davis.
Intelligent, something smart, which is get rid of these fucking old school game is past them by Patriot motherfuckers, and sat over here and put a real motherfucker in the head coaching job, a person that actually played this game and a person that can actually relate and connect with their players.
Okay, so everybody who's watched this already knows that I refer to Josh McDaniels as Pigeon Nuts McGee. And he is Pigeon Nuts. And I just am glad that Mark Davis understood he's Pigeon Nuts. And all I simply mean is that this man finds and discovered a way to do the most scary, small thing to try and preserve a victory, but found a way to snatch victory.
No, snatch defeat.
Snatch defeat
out of the
that
hands
thing.
of victory.
Yeah.
Snatch defeat out of the hands of victory.
There it is. That thing.
Yes.
All right. He did that, and he did that in spades. And all I'm glad at is that Mark Davis just said, enough of this bullshit. So thank the Lord that he did that.
Now, see, here's what the twist is. It's not enough just to fire the motherfucker. What Mark Davis is actually, we have to give him credit for, and he's lucky and blessed to have, is a coach that was on staff that could come. And he's had this opportunity before hiring McDaniels. He had a coach there that could resonate with the players.
Yeah, he messed it up with Bisaccia. He should have rolled with Bisaccia.
But he didn't. And he brought in McDaniels, aka Pigeon Nuts. But the reality is that they had a man there that's played the game, that can relate with every single player in there, because he's been there in that grind and done it and won a Super Bowl. See, that's also key too. Bisaccia, I don't think, has won a Super Bowl.
No, he hasn't. But you know what? I think that the prevailing point that what you just articulated, to me, the crux of it with a head coach is you have to be a delegator, and you have to be able to effectively have people in positions to handle all of the skill positions. but you have to be a motivator of men. So if you're not a motivator of men, you don't need to be a head coach. Period. End of story. So you know what? Pierce is proving that he can motivate that team. And so you need to pay attention to it. And we don't know what we're gonna do, but and obviously we boo-bopped the team that was
boo-boppable.
So let's not get too excited, Raider Nation. We shouldn't get too excited because we should have mopped the floor with the Giants. But this Jets game is going to be the real test for them.
No. They're boo-boppable too, as we just saw. The Chargers has got in that ass.
Okay,
but what I love about the
Raiders are new boo-boppable too. Though.
Yes, of course. But what I love about the Raiders' choice to go with Pierce is that to even conceive of, to think about going to the Super Bowl, in my opinion, you got to have a motherfucker that's actually gone to the Super Bowl. How you going to get me to the Super Bowl, motherfucker, and you ain't never been to the Super Bowl?
Well, see,
whether from a coach perspective,
but Josh McDaniels has been there, but he rode the coattails of Tom Brady. And what he got exposed on is, guess what? You don't understand how to lead men. You just have rode the coattails of Tom Brady.
He's never gotten to the Super Bowl on his own.
No. Matter of fact, we saw it with Denver.
We saw it with Denver. He was the Rams OC, and it was one of the worst offenses in the league that year.
Hooker.
And then we saw him last year.
Talk to me.
Take the team and take several steps backwards. So what we do know from him and from his record outside of being with Tom Brady is that he can't do the deal. The offenses that he ran when Tom Brady wasn't in New England were bottom half offenses.
Yeah.
So he's proven and shown that he's
a hooker.
He wasn't an individual to get him there. It's so funny. I saw on ESPN the video of the locker room for the Raiders after they won. And they beat a motherfucker named Tommy DeVito. So,
DeVito. That was some very New York Italian.
Because my man got hurt early. But what I do know is for you Raider fans, you needed some type of form of inspiration. You needed to feel good about yourself.
You know, I don't like how you say you needed, but okay.
You didn't need it? You didn't need it?
Okay.
You didn't need it?
Oh yeah, we did.
Yeah, of course we did. So,
we did. But I got that. I don't like how you said it.
I share that great, phenomenal energy with you, and that's the same phenomenal energy that the coach is sharing with the team. And what all we can hope is I'm willing to bet. I will put some money on that the Raiders are going to beat the Jets this week.
You know what? And the reason why I agree with you is because
you're a Raiders fan.
Well, this in there, Now, yes, fine, okay, yes, because I'm a Raiders fan.
But give me a logical reason.
Okay, so the logical reason is, as I think that the team is galvanized in a way that they know what they can and they cannot do. So the difference between, let's say, what Josh McDaniels was doing, Josh McDaniels was trying to put his like slant or his spin on everything. And now when you have somebody where you have the team believing in you, is that they realize, okay, we're going to follow the formula of our own advances and limitations. So we're not going to try and get cute with plays. We're going to do plays that are going to be executable because we know where we are dominant at.
What Pierce is going to do is he's going to shove it down their motherfucking throat.
Yeah, so that means that it's going to be Jacobs all day down your throat. Jets try and beat it. And then we're going to do play action off that because we know we have a rookie quarterback. And guess what? He's going to find a couple of guys here and there that are going to be
But
efficient.
This is going to be an interesting game because you got the Jets that do have a very good defense. I think if
do.
they had a better quarterback,
They absolutely
this is a defense that we would have talked about as one of the best defenses in the league.
Absolutely.
And a quarterback obviously plays offense
good.
and not defense, but a good quarterback sits over and puts their defense in more advantageous positive
I would
scenarios.
feel more worried about this game if it was in New York, but it's in Vegas. And so because it's in Las Vegas, I think that our team is going to be inspired, and I think that Max Crosby's
about to eat. He's about to eat.
Man.
He's about to eat Wilson up.
And that secondary, all of them. I don't even need to say names. All of you motherfuckers, they're going to be ready for it. Mm-hmm. They're going to be ready for it, and they're going to be like, boo bop, I'm ready for it. And with Max, listen, we're gonna win that game. I almost want to say like Charles Barkley. I guarantee.
Okay,
I guarantee.
But
we're gonna win. We're gonna win it.
We might need to go do a turnaround to Vegas and go bet on that real quick, or go get on draft.
I know. You see, I know you being that you punk ass Chiefs fan. You're not going to believe what I'm saying, but they're going to do it.
No, I believe. I just said it. I believe they're going to beat the Jets. I just believe that they're about to lose twice in the ensuing weeks to the Chiefs, and that's all right because they expect to lose. So it's all right.
Listen. My Raider Nation will not allow me to concede to that, but okay.
So as we go into the final chapter of this show, we always talk about our fantasy. How'd your fantasy go this past week?
Okay. So I made the mistake of picking Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp and Cooper Kupp
with a backup quarterback.
I know, I did.
That was a bad move, brother. That was.
I know. But it's like they weren't playing somebody that was like rock star lights out, but
they got to get past two.
Yeah, they got to get past two. It really is a microcosm of where you realize the fragility of an offense or the fragility of a football team. Mm-hmm. It's like if those guys aren't there to deliver it, even if it's a 5-yard slant, if that guy isn't there to deliver it and he's able to see the vision, so. Dare I say, I have a different respect for Matthew Stafford.
Right. Yeah,
I'm like,
greater appreciation.
Yeah, I'm like, oh my God, I couldn't believe it because I got destroyed. I picked the Chargers defense, and I was coming down to the last thing, and the Chargers defense killed, but I still lost because I picked Puka Nacua. Yeah. I picked, dare I say, Devontae Adams.
Hey,
I played them.
My team shit the bed where I'm still cleaning up shit. I got shit to clean up after this show.
Well, thank you. I'm glad somebody else got some shit.
But that's all right because the beautiful thing about fantasy is we live to fight another week.
Yeah, we do.
So this week coming up, we have. In my opinion, not a great slate. There are a few couple games out there.
Real talk.
But before we go to DFS, what I do want to talk about is for that waiver wire. This kid Mitchell, who went off for 168 yards and a touchdown. Undrafted free agent.
Hurt my feelings. He's one of the people that hurt my feelings.
He got in your ass. You talking about he got in your ass. So I've already put my waiver wire request in, so I'm gonna see if I can snatch him off the waiver wire and get him in there because I think with that type of performance they have to give him another shot. So for those of you out there, my man Mitchell, undrafted free agent for the Ravens, go pick him up on the waiver wire. Now, when you talk about DFS, this slate does not look sexy to me by any stretch of the imagination, but that actually leads to a lot of opportunity because the scoring is going to be lower.
Yeah,
but there is a couple of good games, and you mentioned a great game to me, and that was the Detroit. Who are the Detroit playing against?
Detroit Chargers.
That's a
Detroit
great
Chargers
game.
is a really good game, and obviously, not talking about the obvious guys, you had to probably pay attention to their tight end. Is it Parham or
Parm? Mm-hmm.
Parham?
XFL.
Yeah, he did not do anything. And what do you always tell me about the guys who don't do anything in the big game?
That they're going to come back.
That's precisely the moment to where they play well in the next game, right? So if you really look at that matchup, Parm might get a touchdown or two.
XFL. We got XFL content coming in 2024, so look out for that.
Yeah. But okay, so you already know that even though you disagree, but that Raiders-Jets game, I really like that one.
You just made my stomach hurt.
If I'm being honest, anything Dallas. So Pollard.
So Dallas is playing the Giants.
Yeah,
that could be a good game, like you said, with Pollard.
Yeah, any way you can incorporate Prescott, Pollard, what's their number one receiver? CeeDee Lamb. If you can incorporate their defense, you probably need to do that off top.
And I like the Jags and the 49ers. I think it's going to be a great game.
But and that to me is one of the more interesting games of the entire week, because who's going to win that battle? Is it going to be the Jags at home, where, let me say, Zay Jones or Ridley or...
So remember this.
Or,
the 49ers
one of those dudes going to get off
in a row. They have to win this game.
Yeah.
So this is a great bounce back for Purdy.
Exactly.
So great bounce back for Purdy.
Debo might come back.
Fade CMC. You can't run against the Jags. So fade CMC. This is a great bounce back for Purdy. They have to win this game. And
McCarthy is still that dude, right? So it's like, yeah, you're right. But then it's like, okay, so what I'm expecting in that game is I'm expecting the 49ers defense to be like, we the 49ers, motherfucker. You're not about to have a better record than us.
I agree.
Period, end of story.
I agree. Trevor Lawrence is about to get his shit fucked in.
Yeah. We about to shit pack this motherfucker.
Without a doubt. Football is always going to be something interesting. We think this might not be the greatest slate, and guess what? It might be absolutely fucking phenomenal. That's why we love football. That's why we come here every single week and talk about it and give all of you all of our energy, all of our love, all of our passion about this game we all love, which is football. So as we end this game, as we end this week, I want to sit over here and say, hey, don't forget about Tycoon.
Church it up.
Tycoon, this shit is absolutely phenomenal. If you
he's
love
the yak guy.
The cognac, if you love brown liquor, get this because it tastes oh so sweet, it's oh so smooth. You're gonna absolutely love it. And I'm gonna go ahead and finish.
I couldn't even believe it. I just gave a little little dance to it. I was like, what the hell?
All right, he dancing.
I know. That much lets you know I'm wet daddy right now. Okay. Well, hey.
Hey, G-Money.
We going to church on it.
Yes. Let's finish our drinks and finish this evening. And we appreciate all of y'all spending that time with us. Again, let's not forget, please like, please subscribe, please download, please
all
give us
day,
some comments.
We're going to do this.
Show some love because we give you everything. We show our love to y'all. That being said, Church on the Move. We'll see you next week.
Amen.